Last year, millennials across the country were feeling the burn in hopes of free everything under socialism. But do America's young people even know what socialism is? Our friends at Campus Reform went to the front lines to find out.
How would you define socialism?
I mean, honestly, that definition is thrown around a lot.
How would you view what socialism is, though? Economically, what is socialism?
Economically, So, I'm gonna think about that for a second.
I guess just specifically just, getting rid of that wealth gap in the United States.
How would I describe it as little words possible?
How would you define socialism?
I mean, it's definitely more of an open form of government, and it feels like a lot more accessible to a lot more people. And that's kind of how I see it, like being more accessible and more kind of like equal ground. Yeah.
What does that mean necessarily, though?
To be quite honest, I don't know.
Is socialism a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, I think people kind of throw that word around to try to scare you.
It could really benefit our country in the future.
I think it's a good idea.
Trying to spread the wealth is definitely a good thing in America, and it's definitely a thing that's needed.
Joining me now, the man with the microphone, Campus Reform's media director, Cabot Phillips. Okay, Cabot, so they don't know what socialism is, but they love it.
They do. This is concerning, and it's funny, but it's scary. Millennials are now the largest voting bloc in America. And they're going to the polls.
We're doomed. That's it.
They're going to the polls with a completely warped view of what socialism is. And I think it's two main reasons that we're seeing this kind of thing where they love socialism without knowing. It's President Obama, who for 8 years made mainstream this concept of spreading the wealth, and he brought class warfare back.
Yes, he did.
And also, we've got liberal professors that are teaching a revisionist form of history, leaving out what socialism has actually
totally
done.
Indoctrinated. When I go out, sometimes I'll say, where has socialism worked? And it hasn't, because if you look at Venezuela, toilet paper is a luxury item, and for a while they had to go to a 2-day work week because they wanted to save electricity. It's not going that well whenever it's enacted.
And the average Venezuelan has lost 36 pounds in the past year. And I think next year for spring break...
Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe they were obese. Or no, you're saying they're starving.
They're starving.
Okay,
that's what
so maybe that's not a good
diet.
thing.
And next year for spring break, I think these students should go a little further south than Cancun or Panama City, go to Venezuela, stop at Cuba on the way back, actually see what it looks like in real life. And sadly, they would learn more from a trip to Venezuela than they would in a classroom, because professors are not teaching what it actually is. They're teaching that socialism is social equality and fairness for all.
I will not be sending my children to Venezuela on spring break, but anybody else that wants to have that enlightening experience, I say go for it. Cabot, thank you very much.